Good morning, everyone. So this is going to be the third episode, I think. Yes, third episode of the podcast ADHD is a Superpower. And it's going to be about multitasking and why multitasking is a very, very good way to harness your ADHD brain that works a bit differently because, neurodivergence. Again, as I said, it's a superpower. And that multitasking, like everything, you have, how do I put it? There are good and bad, there are good things and bad things to everything, right? Multitasking can be a good thing when it's done properly, but then it can also become extremely detrimental when you don't finish things. So you might have many different projects or many different interests, and then you can't focus on what you want to do, or you don't you can't you can't really keep yourself motivated enough to do things. And this kind of ties into what I was talking about last week about having a structure in your day and devoting time to do certain things, but then, being okay with going with the flow as well. Like, make a plan, but don't beat yourself up if you need to deviate from it. And this is something I'm learning. Look, I make plans to do things, but then at the time, I may not do it because at the time it feels I want to do something else, or I'm tired, or circumstances are such that I cannot do what I plan to do. But this is where being adaptable becomes really important and flexible, because you can think to yourself, okay, I can't do this, so what can I do instead? So I have so many interests, so I can just pick up something else that I can do right now. And I'll give you an example. For example, today, I need to work on something where I need to sit down, have a desk to sit at, and I need to just have some quiet time away from social media, away from distractions, away from people, away from my own thoughts that can be distracting. And for me, that is either a coffee shop or a library. Coffee shop, the issue is I am trying to save money right now because I am, trying to build my business, and I'm short of money. I don't want to spend like £3 to £5 on a coffee just so I can sit and work there. So I've been relying heavily, and also Wi-Fi, because my iPad doesn't have a SIM, and my phone internet, I don't want to use it up too much, because that's what happened that's why I lost access to internet for a while, because I used up my data and I didn't have money to add more, and I don't have Wi-Fi at the place I'm staying right now. So what I've been doing is kind of stealing Wi-Fi from places. Well, I say stealing, but what I mean is I go and stand outside a Costa and access theirs to do any essential things I need to do, and then I go away again. And then libraries have been very good. Isle of Wight has very good, nice libraries that I've been finding helpful. But the one problem they all have is that there are many days when they're just closed. And that can be a bit of a problem for me, because, if I need to work on something and I can't afford to go to a coffee shop, and I don't, the library is closed, and then I've basically just stuck, especially if the weather is bad. And yesterday the weather was good. I meant to spend all day in the library, but I ended up not only spending a couple of hours there while I uploaded all my videos from that I had made in the morning. And then I ended up getting out because I didn't want to stay inside when the weather was uncharacteristically nice. But the issue with that now is I'm in Newport right now, and the library in Newport is closed on a Wednesday, whereas it was open until 5:30 yesterday. So this is where I was a bit stuck until I had a look and realized that the library in Shanklin is open. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I am going to Sandown by bus. Then I'm going to walk to Shanklin for a couple of, so that's 2 miles, so I can get my walking done for the day. And then I'm going to go to the Shanklin Library, and I'm going to sit and work there. Then I'm going to see my friend, spend a bit of time with my friend. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. I will make up the rest on the spot. But these are the things that I want to do, that I want to get done. And there was an obstacle in sense of practical stuff, but I go around them. And this is how you can, so this is why it's kind of nice to be adaptable. And another thing is, there are some days when I'm a lot more productive in the evenings and nights than I am during the day. And actually generally I am like that. I am a night owl, always have been, much more productive at night. So although there are also some days where I wake up really early and then I fall asleep really early. So it's just my body is a bit crazy right now. I don't know what's happening. So I'm trying to adapt to what my body is doing as well. And it's a bit difficult because I don't know. But that's where the next thing I want to say comes in, where I have this yes, my issue with needing to be at a desk. Well, to be honest, I've never been a desk kind of person, but I spend a lot of time used to spend a lot of time studying on my bed, just like lying face down usually, or sitting up and then having something on my lap. And that's how I used to work on whatever. But since this, a lot of the time I feel trapped I have difficulty staying at home or in the place where I'm staying at. I feel trapped sometimes, and I feel claustrophobic. Like, I feel claustrophobic right now, but I force myself to stay just to record this episode, and then I'm getting out. Because if I don't do this before I leave, then I don't have a quiet place to do it in, and it's gonna bug me all day, and then I don't want to be thinking about doing this all day. I want to do it and then go. So I know myself enough that it's going to bug me all day if I won't be able to get on with the rest of the things I need to do if I don't do this before I leave. So I'm overcoming my need to get out right now. So usually during the day I need to be out of the house. Like in the morning I'm usually a bit relaxed. I have a coffee. I actually had some toast as well, because I don't want to be going out and then getting hungry immediately and then having to buy food. Yesterday I made food and took it with me. I didn't feel like doing that today because I had a bit of a annoying encounter with my toaster, and it burned my toast, and then it was too hard when I tried to eat it later. Anyway, that's not important. That was just me being a bit silly, but that's okay. And I've lost what I was trying to say. Think brain. What was I saying? I was talking about. So I was saying about. Oh yeah, I had I had a bit of brunch. I guess it's 11:40 now, so it's lunch, brunch. I had a coffee, and I had a toast, and I actually sat in silence for a while eating it, and that's actually a good thing as well. I don't usually do that. I left my phone in the other room, and I ended up sitting in the little shared living room area, and I just ate there, drank there, and I was just thinking and planning my day ahead. That was helpful. I didn't even have music on because my phone was in the other room. What else? Yeah, I think also I wanted to just share that it's good to get out of your room for a while. Because for me anyway, in my room there are so many distractions it's not clutter exactly, although I am a bit messy and I struggle to clean up, but it's not very clutter. It's quite neat by my standards. But I do have things drying from my laundry, and I have my food and groceries that I bought for myself, my toiletries, and then I've got my whole workspace which has all the arts and crafts things, my notebooks full of all the things that I like to do. And I find that quite distracting. Like, I start thinking, oh, I want to do that, I want to do this, I should do that. So it's kind of nice to get out of your space for a while, I think, even if it's just to a different room, because it's just nice to sit with yourself for a little bit, and enjoy doing what you're doing, to be mindful, to eat mindfully, to drink mindfully, to not be thinking about 100 million other things at the same time. Because usually I am unable to eat like that. I always need to be doing something else, but that's not very healthy. You shouldn't really be like, you should be more mindful when you're eating, or whatever you're doing. Mindfulness is a really good way to calm down your brain. Okay, I feel like I went completely off track here, but that's okay. This is what I mean. Okay to be adaptable. I wanted to talk about multitasking, but I ended up talking about a whole lot of different things. But again, that's fine. But I am kind of come back to mindfulness. No, I'll come back to mindfulness maybe another time. But I do want to talk about multitasking, so I'm going to spend the last few minutes of this podcast talking about that. So I'm going to use another analogy that I may have talked about before, but again, I'm sorry for repeating myself. It's hard to keep track. So I have multiple projects running at the same time, and I have always been like that. If I take my laptop, for example, I always have multiple tabs open, multiple screens. So, on an Apple computer, you can have different screens, so you can flip between things. So I used to have like 5 or 6 things, and each one of them will be a different thing. So, for example, one will be my psychology stuff. So when I was doing my online degree, I would have documents and Google tabs open that is all about psychology, research articles, whatever I'm working on, that is going to be there. And then when I've got another tab that will be like my life admin, so it'll be my calendar, my schedule or timetable, it'll be like to-do list, or like bills I need to pay, things like that. That will be one screen. Another screen would be, let's say, my writing. So if I'm working on something I'm writing, that will be just something else. So I used to have multiple things open, but I had them organized so that I didn't have everything in one screen cluttering it up, because that is very distracting. I had them separately. So when I feel like writing, I'll go to that tab. When I need to work on my psychology, I go to that. And that is a way to multitask in an effective way without getting overwhelmed. Putting your phone on do not disturb mode, oh my god, this has saved me so much, because those notifications are so bad for your ADHD brain. It's like every time one pops up, it's like, okay, your brain goes somewhere else, and then it's very difficult to get your brain to come back. Or for me personally, it's very difficult for me. And even in these podcasts, you can hear me when I go off track a little bit, and then it's hard for me to work myself back to where I was. And that is difficult, and that is time consuming. It's a waste of time to come back, to make your way back. This is how you end up wasting time and not getting anything done. So when you want to work on something, put your phone on do not disturb mode and keep it like that until you take a break. And that can be after 5 minutes, that can be after 20 minutes, that can be after an hour or 2 hours. It doesn't matter. But at least for that time that you're working on it, you will not have distractions coming in. And this is why I actually have this issue against Apple watches, because I think they're great for things like fitness tracking and all those functions, but I hate the fact that those notifications come in and then you lose track. I have conversations with people, and I see them, we're having a conversation, and then they see this notification coming in, and they're gone, their mind is gone, and then they have to bring themselves back. This is why ADHD is so detrimental, because of that hyperstimulation. And the only way to stop yourself from being hyperstimulated is by shutting it off. When you're doing something, when you're having a conversation, or with a friend, or when you're having some time to yourself, or some time that you need to devote to something, turn off those distractions. Put your phone on do not disturb. Take your the watch off. Whatever you need to do, do it. And actually, I think if you put your iPhone on do not disturb, then the Apple Watch wouldn't send you notifications, right? I think so. So that solves that issue. And this is what I do. And then when I take a break, then I look at whatever's come in, whatever notifications have come in. And then if I deal with them on a sort of priority basis. So if it's important, I do it then. If it's not that important, I think, okay, I'll do that later. And if it's really not important, I'm like, okay, I'm never doing that. So this is one way to use multitasking to your benefit. Yeah, the analogy I was going to use was about cooking that I've talked about before, but I mean, it's the same thing basically. When I'm cooking, I usually have multiple things, multiple pots and pans. And so, for example, if I'm making, what do I make you? Okay, if I'm making enchiladas, I have one pot that's to kind of, I used to make chicken, but now I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat any meat. And I use corn instead, QUORN, those products that are made from basically protein, like mushrooms, and the frozen products made to taste like meat. You can have different flavors. You have like beef, you can have chicken. I don't know if they have pork or fish. They probably do, but beef and chicken, they definitely have, and I use that. So there'll be one pot that's to boil that and season that. There'll be another one for the sauce. There'll be something else going on. So this is what I mean. I usually have different things, and that keeps me from getting bored or getting overwhelmed, because there's always something to do. Because if I get bored, then I walk away and then I ruin it. If I do too much and I ruin it. So cooking is a very delicate art, and you need to stop yourself from doing too much or not doing enough. And that's difficult when you've got ADHD. And the way I deal with that is to always have multiple things going on, so that I can just switch focus to different things as needed. And that keeps me on track. All right, guys, I think I've spoken quite a lot today. I really want to get out of the house now. And so I'm going to end this here. Do I need to summarize? I don't think so, because this has been a bit of a mixed bunch in terms of what I want to say, but that's okay. Until next time.